Well, hello guys. I'm actually back on YouTube. I thought I would film like a get ready of me. I've never done like this style of video before, so I thought may as well, because I'm in Manchester at the moment. I'm going to Molly May's launch party with Pretty Little Thing, and I've got time to kill. I've got like 3 hours to kill, so I'm just gonna do like a standard Amy makeup look. I'm just gonna do something that I normally always do. It's kind of like my go-to like night out makeup look. It feels so weird to talk to the camera again, I have to say, like it is very strange. Just gonna moisturize my lips because they are dry as fuck. I'm just gonna quickly go take a thumbnail photo for this video. I might put a towel on my head just to make it look a bit more bougie. You know, gotta do what you gotta do for them views. I'm gonna start with my brows. I'm just gonna take the Benefit 24-hour brow setter gel, and I'm gonna run this through my brows. And then I'll let it set before I go in with my Anastasia dip brow. So I've gone on delivery and I've ordered some pasta, garlic bread and some mozzarella sticks because a girl needs to eat. Anywho, priorities. Always clean your brow brush off before you start using the brush from the last time, because you will not get a good brow with a nasty ass eyebrow brush. I scrape out a little bit of dip brow, and then I whack it on the back of my hand like this. But no offense, the dip brow and anything like gel eyeliners and stuff always seem to dry out, so I just take tiniest drop on the back of my hand and just kind of mix it together, and then it makes it into like a really fine like oil paint. See that? So I'm actually just going to put on some music and do my brows, because if I'm concentrating too much they will go shit. So I need to distract myself, and some twerking tunes is how I do. Don't you think brows just always look so aggressive when you've got no other makeup on? Like, I look really angry. But I promise I'm not. So the next thing that I'm going to do is just take my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. I think this is in, yeah, shade medium, and I'm just going to pop a little bit on my eyelids just to act as like a primer, basically. I'm taking this hard sponge. You should probably wet the sponge, because it actually feels like I'm using a pebble to blend this in. So I'm just trying to think of like a couple of things we can talk about, like some topics. Everyone's been asking this question, and I'm just going to address it really quickly. But yes, I am single now. I've been single for nearly 3 months, or just over, I don't know, I'm not counting. So I'm just going to take a little bit of powder. This is just the Too Faced Born This Way powder. And I'm just going to dry off that concealer on top of my eyes. So tonight's event is basically a collaboration with Molly May and Pretty Little Thing. I know Molly like roughly from before she did Love Island, so we did a photo shoot with each other actually with a company called Naked Dresses, and then I've seen her a couple of times at events previously. I'm just using my Dose of Colours Friendcation palette, and I'm using this shade here. It is my favourite. I don't know if they've discontinued this palette, but if they have, I'm going to be so sad because I love this shade. And I'm just taking that on my Morphe M504 brush. I literally love this brush. It's the easiest brush to like apply eyeshadow to. It's so quick. I'm going to drag it into the inner corner as well, because I like it to connect with my nose contour. I like the snatched look. Oh my god, so listen to this. You're going to actually die. Also, I'm just taking this shade here, just on the outer corner of my eyes, and I'm going to use that on my Zoeva 227 brush. But I went to Marbella and I decided to treat me and my sister to a little holiday, because it was just after the breakup and I was like, bitch, get me out of this country. So we flew to Marbella, having like a really nice, like kind of like semi-chilled, semi-goey out holiday. And you know when you're at the pool and you just like people watch, and you're, you know, I'm a nosy bitch, so I like to watch what everyone's doing and listen to conversations, not like in like a... So there was this guy and he was like sat on his own by the pool, and he went past this Spanish woman who had kids, and he was like talking to her, and he mentioned like that he had 2 kids of his own, and I was just like, oh, cute. So about an hour later, me and my sister went into the pool, and as we got in, he like swam over to us. You know when you know someone's coming towards you to talk to you. So I was like, okay, he's coming over here to speak, like, shit, what do I say? Yeah, came over, had a conversation with my sister, like really nice guy, like chatting away, like really chatty. We got talking, and he ended up being like, oh, my dinner's here. So good. And this little beast, my breath's gonna be so good later. Then I'm gonna take my Tarte, this is a felt tip liner. Long story short, he's kind of in the industry. He said he does hair for people that are on Love Island. And I was like, oh, who? Like, I know people, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I started asking questions, and I was saying like how old he is, and he said he was 29. He said he didn't have any kids, and I was a bit like, I do remember you saying to someone that you had kids, but I thought maybe I've got a different guy, like maybe it's not this guy. And then he was getting a bit tactile in the pool, like a bit uncomfortable, like he was spinning me around and stuff, like flirting, and I was a bit like, this is not cute. So I got out of the pool and we went to sit down on my sunbed. So my sunbed was here, and then my sister's sunbed was here. I was led on mine, and my sister went and sat next to him on hers. And he got his phone out, and he 100% took a photo of me led on my sunbed, which I looked at my sister and I was like, did he just? And she was like, yeah. Anyway, we were then comparing tans, and he was showing us photos of him in Mexico when he had like a really nice tan, and he was really dark and stuff. So we were like talking about that, and then he told us he was in Marbella the week before with like lads on like a lads holiday, and yeah, so we were just like all getting on as friends, like whatever. And I was just being nice, and I was like, look, we're meeting some people later, like if you want to join us, more than welcome, like give me your number, and like I'll text you later when we go out. Anyway, so he gave me his number. By this point, like, didn't know his name, so yeah, I was like, what's your name, like what's your number? I'm gonna make up his name like now, because I feel like just in case. He was like, James J, and I was just like, all right, James J, like I'll save your number. Then me and my sister went up to the room to start getting ready, and I was like to my sister, something doesn't feel right. Like, bearing in mind, we had been speaking about like a lot of topics, and I was talking about guys, and I was talking about how they're liars, and like talking about Love Island, and how like how can a guy change their mind so quickly? How can they lie to you and say this one minute and then that the next? Like, I was going in, and I was saying to him how like I would like to be a detective if I wasn't doing what I was doing now. I said that I'm really good at like finding stuff out and things. So anyway, we got back to the hotel room, and I was just like to my sister, like something was off, like it felt weird, like something wasn't right. So yeah, so I was like, right, I'm gonna go on to Instagram, and I'm going to go through their followers to see like who they're following and if they're following this guy. I didn't follow anyone called Jay or James. I opened up his chat in WhatsApp to have a look at the photo, and the photo on WhatsApp correlated to someone that they followed on Instagram, but his name was Jamie. So I was like, oh my god, he's like lied about his name. I went on his profile. He's married, he's got 2 kids. He went to Mexico for his wedding. He was in Marbella on their honeymoon, and he is 30 years old because she threw him a 30th birthday bash, and him and his wife own the business together.
What?
When I was scrolling on his profile, all of a sudden it turned private, so we put his profile on private, so obviously I couldn't see. And it just kind of sets in stone that like guys are liars. I told you I'd make such a good detective. I just know when something's off. So I'm just going to take some of this oil. All I do with this is put some like here on my cheeks, a bit down my nose, and then on my forehead. Just to give me that glow. So I'm going to take a pump of Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk in the shade 6. The reason that I've been out of action, and I'll do like a proper video about it, but just to kind of tell you a little bit. This is the 111 face brush, by the way. So I've been out of action because in February I got really poorly with a sickness bug, and then from that I got really bad vertigo, like chronic vertigo. Like I mean, I literally collapsed on a train because I couldn't see in front of me. Like it was horrendous. If you've ever had vertigo, you will know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you think I'm over exaggerating. I'm not. Like, the room was moving. I felt like I was on a roundabout going around and around and around and around. It was absolutely awful, and I had that for, I mean, touch wood, I still get bouts of it. I kind of like, I kind of know what's gonna set it off. Yeah, it was horrendous for like at least 5 months. Honestly, I'm not even joking. I said to my mum, like, if this carries on, like, I don't know how I'm gonna like deal with this, because I got so sick with it, because it made me feel travel sick, because obviously you feel like you're spinning constantly. So I just felt travel sick. I felt really lethargic. I just didn't feel well. Like, I had this really weird sensation as well in my head, like it was fizzing. It was not the worst thing I've ever been through in my life, but it was up there. It's not fun. If you haven't had vertigo, like, you are lucky. If you got vertigo, you've had vertigo, like, I feel your pain. It's honestly awful. But I as soon as I went back to mine, I went to get in the shower and I couldn't really see where the bath was to like stand over it, because it was moving constantly, and I just misjudged it obviously, and I slipped and whacked my toe on the tiles, like the corner of the tiles on the ledge, and I broke my toe. So I'm not even joking, and I will go into probably like a more in-depth video. This year has honestly been hell. I'm glad to be back at work. It feels amazing to be back, and it feels amazing to like be on trips and like see everybody and catch up and just carry on living again. Okay, and then I'm going to take my RCMA Shinto palette, and I'm going to take the 2 darkest shades on my Dose of Colours tapered brush, and I'm just going to cream contour. This is so easy to do when you do it this way, rather than like drawing on the lines. Like, drawing on the lines is perfectly fine, especially for Instagram videos, but I find this so much easier just to like whack it on and be done. And then I'm whacking on some concealer. This is in Ginger, NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. This year has gone so quick. Like, someone please push the pause button. Okay, so I'm going to take the Ben Nye powder. This is the pinky one. And I'm going to grab just a little bit to start with. Pack underneath my eyes to set the powder. And then once it's all dried off, I'll then bake for a bit. And then brushing off the excess powder, ready to bake. And I'm just gonna bake underneath the eye. And then I take a little brush and I just go down the center of my nose. The Hoola bronzer in Caramel. I've been absolutely obsessed with using this. And then I use the normal original Hoola bronzer to do my nose. And I've been using like a straight, like flat shadow brush, and I just pop it underneath my nose. So I've been drawing like a little line that goes across the nose to kind of make it look a little bit more like cutesy. Okay, and then while my under eyes are still setting, let's do under eye eyeshadow, and I think I'm gonna go a little bit heavier than what I normally. I'm just gonna take that first shade we used on the eye as a base shade. And then I'm going to take that second shade that we used, which is this colour here. And then I'm going to whack that on top underneath the eye. So I hardly do this anymore, but I quite fancy having a dark waterline. So I'm going to use my Maybelline Gel Liner. Such an oldie but a goodie. Can't forget about it. To grab my waterline. Look how much more like sultry my eye looks. That's how to open an eye, and that's how to make it look more almond. I feel like putting a bit of highlighter on today. I don't normally put liquid highlighter on top of powder, but I really fancy some iconic London glowage going on. And just pop it on my cheekbones. Then I'm going to take the Bare Minerals highlighter. This one's in the shade Free. And it's like a really goldy, shimmery highlighter. I'm just going to highlight my nose. Okay. Blusher. Bare Minerals again. I just love Bare Minerals. This is in Bellini Brunch. And I'm going to take that on NYX no, a Zoeva face finish brush. And just pop it. So I kind of like go up and then down like this for my face shape, because if I pop it here then it makes me look a little bit more hollow. So finishing off this look, I'm going for the Bare Minerals lip liner in the shade Freestyle. I'm ready. So I did my hair in like a low ponytail. This is the Beauty Works one. I'm wearing the shade Mocha Melt. Actually, I'm going to put some oil through it to make it look a bit beachy. I'm going to take the Way Rose Hair and Body Oil. I'm going to take a couple of pumps of that, and I'm just going to like run it through outfit. So I'm wearing Pretty Little Thing. This isn't Molly's collection. It's just from PLT, and I'll link the skirt and the top in the description box. And I'm wearing these heels from Ego, I want to say. Beachy vibes, and like the skirt's really long, so I'll show you. So it covers one leg and then shows the other. So I just need to check myself one more time. Let me show you the makeup in daylight, because it's so different to when you're under LED. So yeah, this is my makeup. So anyway, enjoy the little clips I'm going to show you from the event, and until next time, I love you guys and I'll see you very soon.